Hi, my name is Norma Van Horn, and I visualize a world in which everyone has access to inner peace. Today's little conversation is about remembering how to trust ourselves. So, we are not a culture that understands energy very deeply yet. Other cultures do. Other cultures have practices that go much deeper than ours does, but not ours, not right now. Although I think that's really growing and returning, I should say. So the language of energy is spoken through the body. The language of wisdom of the body is not the type of knowledge that our culture rewards. Our culture really rewards things like certainty, analysis, judgment, understanding, and the isolation of discrete components into their lowest common denominator, most discrete and individual little unit, which is what our scientific method is all about, right? Isolating these variables, isolating things that are actually in much deeper, richer conversation in reality. And this is a way of relating to life, of assuming that individual things act independently. And this relies on the head, and the head is the language of this knowledge. That's where we create this knowledge and understand this knowledge. So that's a way of relating to life that is very head-centric. However, everything is comprised of energy. Everything in everyone. And energy is constantly engaging with and interacting with the energy inside us and also inside everything else and all around us. It's constantly moving and flowing and adjusting and adapting, and it's in conversation with life. And so there's no such thing as a discrete, isolatable quality or aspect or individual component of anything. So the mind is the tool for this knowledge, but the body is the interpreter of wisdom and of truth. Because the body is where we understand and hear energy. And energy is the language of life. Energy is the language of wisdom, of truth. And the body is the interpreter of this. So while we can think at warp speed, we cannot listen at warp speed. We cannot listen through the body and listen to the language of energy at warp speed. And I say all of this, and energy was our first language. Long before we learned how to override the truth in our bodies, because we learned very early on that our truth had the ability to pull the big ones out of their center, had the ability to make the big ones lose their minds, right? And those of us that are parents know how our kids can do that to us as well, right? And so that is how we were modeled, and then also model for others that they can't trust their truth and that they must rely on the head and external validation instead of their inner truth and inner peace. But if we want to heal these patterns, and to heal means to restore wholeness, if we want to heal these patterns, we have to get real about what is ailing us. And we cannot simultaneously restore our wholeness while we continue to do all those things that made us unwell, disconnected from ourselves, disconnected from our truth, disconnected from listening, disconnected from our bodies in the first place. So one of the things we do when we go into the woods for rewilding hikes, or when we practice the embodied root wholeness process that I guide people in learning and discovering for themselves, is we remember how to listen to the language of energy and how to hear our truth. And then we remember how to trust ourselves again. So one idea that I share on rewilding hikes is this: if something is true in the woods, it is true. No matter how inconvenient it is on the outside world. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's not good, it's not bad, it's not any of those things. It is simply true for us right now. And that's energy. So listening to and honoring our truth is how we remember to trust ourselves again. And then instead of looking externally for anything, we remember how to look inward for our inner peace. And it's a completely different way of relating to life, and it is the act of growing up. So one other idea, and that is for those of us that have kids, I think we all want for our kids to honor their truth and to trust themselves, right? We want our kids to trust themselves. And if we want our kids to trust themselves, we have to model how to do it. And in order for us to model it, we have to remember how to do it. So if you'd like to learn more, if you'd like to chat about this in person, if you'd like to go on a rewilding hike, reach out. I would love to continue the conversation. And I'm teaching a class at Casa de Luz on Thursday nights. Join us. We'd love to see you. Okay, thank you. Blue skies. Mwah.